haven't been here since it happened. My dad and Lonnie, they don't like me to come. Goodness. Everything's dirty. I really must get over and clean one day. Liza, will you lend me $1,000? I'll pay you back.
What's the trouble, Sally?
I've got to get away from here.
What for, a trip?
No, Liza, for good.
Where would you go?
Oh, Denver, I think. Doesn't matter.
Alone?
I'll pay you something every month. I've just got to get away from here.
Sally, do you really think you should be alone right now?
I feel like I'm buried alive here.
I know.
You don't know. Nobody knows. If $1,000 is too much, give me 500.
It isn't the money.
Well, then what is it?
Why did we have to meet here like this?
Like what?
Secretly.
Well, my father and Lonnie, they...
How do they feel about your going away?
Oh, you mustn't tell them.
Why not?
Please, Liza, don't ask me so many questions. Just help me.
It's not just what happened to Melanie, is it?
No. No, it isn't. I don't want to tell you this. They're right. There's no reason you should know. Except you're the only one who can help me. You better read something. I keep it so I won't forget how things started. When I forget, then it seems like it was all my fault.
Man in green Lincoln coming from Reno next Saturday. He killed little girl. Who sent this?
I don't know. It came in the mail. It was a few days after they found Melanie. At first, I thought it was some kind of a prank. But I couldn't bring myself to throw the letter away. The thing about it was, a big green car did come through here not long before. I remembered I'd been over at the lodge one day, visiting May Jean when I saw it. The man who owned it, Mr. Spangler, May Jean said he was a salesman. Came through about once a month. So I knew there was a man and a green Lincoln car. And finally, I decided to show the letter to my father. The thing you have to understand about my father, he loved Melanie. About the only softness I ever saw in my father was the way he loved Melanie.
What did he do? Sally? He called a meeting.
Melanie's death had done something to the town. Made people feel different about each other. I guess they couldn't help thinking every time they saw a neighbor, maybe it was him. Maybe he did it. When my father read them the letter, that changed things for them. Lonnie was there. I made him tell me what happened. He said when people read the letter, they felt, well, kind of good. They'd suspected one of their own had killed Melanie. Now they knew it was an outsider. I suppose it was a kind of blessing to them.
And nobody even wondered who sent the message?
If they did, well, it was already Friday night. There wasn't much time for questions. Lonnie says some wanted to call the sheriff in Dodge Junction, but they got voted down.
Why?
People wanted to take the man themselves. They needed to. First thing next morning, they all met out in the Reno Road. They made a barricade out of Mel Warren's car. I guess they must have been there a couple of hours when this Spangler finally came along. father told Spangler he was under arrest for the murder of Melanie Bixton. He said he never even heard of her. And they were sure he was lying. He tried to get away, but they grabbed him. They pulled him out. Then Mel Warren took his car over to the service station, and that dog kept on barking at him. Once they got Spangler back to my father's office, I suppose they asked him some questions. Who he was, where he came from, what he was doing here. They were going to take him over to Dodge Junction to the jail, but when they got him outside, he broke free. Mel Warren had taken his car keys, but nobody knew that. I suppose my father pictured Spangler getting away. He shot him. Maybe my father's shot killed Spangler, maybe not. Nobody will ever know that for sure.
What do you mean?
I guess it was Mel Warren who spoke up first. Mel said, "Are we going to back up Bud Henshaw on this, or aren't we?" Mel shot Spangler. Then he made sure the others, they did the same. Lonnie was the only one that didn't take a shot at him.
Then they found out he was innocent.
They found his passport in his car. It had dates in it, trips he'd taken. When Melanie was killed, Spangler was in Italy.
That was the grave I found.
I still hear that dog. They tracked him down the other night, and they killed him. But I still hear him howling. Do you think I always will?
Where's Liza?
Oh, she went out. She said she was going for a long drive.
How come you're back, Eddie?
Well, I decided to give the kid another chance.
Good.
I'm glad you're on my side. Can you put me up?
Oh, of course. I'll have Maygene make up 2:15. Show Eddie where it is, will you, Justin?
Why didn't you tell me what really happened here? To Melanie Bixton and that man, Spangler.
Liza, knowledge like that is a burden. Who told you?
Someone who was terrified to confide in me.
Probably Sally Bixton.
Justin, do they really think they can keep that thing a secret forever?
I'm sure they hope so.
But that's wrong.
Well, what would have been right? You can't prosecute a whole town, Liza. Those men were full of booze and upset about the child. They're gonna have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
Well, you can't just sweep it under a rug. There are too many questions. Well, who would send that kind of a letter?
Sally really told you a lot, didn't she?
Well, who would send a letter like that?
Somebody who had it in for Spangler.
Exactly. Somebody in this town. And why hasn't somebody come looking for him?
I don't know.
Well, who was Spangler? And why did he run? A man with nothing to hide doesn't try to escape. Why didn't he just show them his passport?
Your guess is as good as mine. As far as I know, he was a salesman. Liza, this is an ugly business. And sometimes it's better to let an ugly business die.
Justin, is Eddie back?
Yeah, he's asleep, I think, in 2:15. She talked to Sally Bixton.
And?
She knows about Spangler.
That all?
Isn't that enough?
Wipe that happy expression off your face, soldier.
Eddie, this isn't funny.
Come in. Rose seems very anxious for us to get together again. Now, I prefer to think it's because she likes me, but I have a suspicion she just wants to get you out of here.
Yes. She and some others.
What do you mean?
I'll be back at dinner time. I'll see you.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going?
Carson City. It's just a little errand.
I'll go with you.
No. You stay here and rest. I'll be back about, 6 o'clock.
I get the feeling you don't want me.
Look, let's just say I can do this errand quicker without you. Okay? Thank you again, Mr. Carter.
What do you mean? What difference could it possibly make if Sally Bixton leaves town?
But how much does Liza know?
Rose, she knows how Spangler died.
I know
She knows
that.
about the letter.
What does she suspect?
Will you stop worrying?
Her husband would take her back to New York.
But she won't find out. Nobody will.
I hope you're right, Justin. You can't afford to